by deceiving an old man who can't see. Think about it. Now think about the depths to which these people are sunk. The mom's going to help the dad, or help her other son lie to the dad because he can't see, so she's going to disguise him. See, Esau was a hairy person. So they put hair on Jacob to make it so when his dad would reach out, he'd say, "Oh, it's Esau." I see, how would that work? There had to been some notice of detection, you would have thought, but this is what happened where the scripture throughout this does not actually ever condone anyone's actions, except to say that God's plan was done. And so we see here all sorts of people doing some horrible things, and think of what they had sunk to. Yes, Rebekah was desperate. Now, she too knew what God had promised. The better thing to do, instead of trying to lie to her husband, would have been to confront him with the reality of this sinful problem. Now, that's a difficult thing to do, but it's also the biblical thing to do. Someone is doing something wrong, instead of ignoring it, instead of trying to work around it, no, you need to directly come at it. That's not what they did, but that's what they should have done. But apparently, this family was not close at all. What a mess. I mean, reading this story, I had, honestly, as I was, and I've read this story thousands of times, as many of you have. This is one of the most familiar stories in Genesis. It's a very familiar story in Scripture. But as I was reading with new lenses, I almost felt like I was watching one of those crazy talk shows where where the parents are crazy and the kids are crazy. And we're not on the level of Jerry Springer, but man, we're on the level of some pretty serious, weird stuff going on. And this was their life. So Rebekah's reaction was, Jacob's going to get Esau's blessing, and we're going to lie to the dad. She knew she could fake it with Jacob. She knew that she could fake the food and make it to where the way he liked it, or the way Isaac liked it. She knew with doing that with Jacob, his ability to cook, there was no way this was going to be taken care of. There was no way around it. Well, Jacob was unsure, and in verse 14 and 15, he said to his mom, "Wait a minute, are you sure this is what we should be doing?" But it wasn't on moral grounds. Let me get there. He wasn't worried about the son of it. No, that wasn't his problem. His problem, and his concern was, he was going to get caught. He wasn't worried about his sin. No, he was worried about whether or not he would get caught. I'm sorry, I wasn't 14, 15, it was verses 11 and 12. He says, "Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am smooth-skinned man. Perhaps my father will fail me, and I shall be a deceiver to him, and I shall bring a curse upon myself and not a blessing." So he was objecting, but he wasn't objecting on moral grounds. Look, I don't want to get caught. I'm in with you, Mom, in this plan, but I don't want to get caught. So her response was, she'll take the blame. She'll take the blame. Again, not a close family. This isn't really a paragon here at this point of a good spiritual family to follow. But this is how the Lord gives it to us in Scripture for a good reason. We'll get to the reason why here in just a moment. Number 3, God's people may appear to gain success through their manipulation.